Time Walk with Me.
Hey everybody, welcome back to another Time Walk with Me deck tech video. Today we're going to look at my Minsc and Boo Timeless Heroes deck. This is, as you can see, red and green. I forget what that is called, but it's red and green. Minsc and Boo Timeless Heroes is a legendary planeswalker. He costs 4, 2 of any, a green and a red, and it comes into play with 3 loyalty counters. And when Minsc and Boo Timeless Heroes enters the battlefield, and at the beginning of your upkeep, you may create Boo, a legendary 1/1 hamster creature token with trample and haste. And that looks a little something like this. And it's +1 ability. It's only got 2 abilities here. Put 3 +1/+1 counters on up to 1 target creature with trample or haste. So up to 1 target creature. So you can just put the +1 counter and do nothing. Or you can put the 3 +1/+1 counters on your Boo here and make him a 4/4 as soon as he comes into play. So basically this is a 4/4 for 4 mana with trample and haste. It's pretty cool. And it's -2 ability here. Sacrifice a creature, also known as sacrificing Boo, but you can sacrifice any creature. When you do, Minsc and Boo Timeless Heroes deals X damage to any target, where X is the creature's power. Is that creature's power? The power of the creature you sacrificed, of course. And if the sacrificed creature was a hamster, which Boo is, draw X cards. So the bigger Boo is, the more cards you'll draw. And Minsc and Boo Timeless Heroes can be your commander, of course. So that's pretty cool. Let's put him right here, and we'll take a look at some other cards that are in this deck. Like, this one's a recent addition. Ruck, Hexgold Nabber. It's a 2/2 with trample and haste. It's a little bit like Boo in that way. He's a Goblin Rebel. Whenever an equipped creature you control other than Ruck, Hexgold Nabber attacks or dies, you may attach all equipment attached to that creature to Ruck. Now this deck puts a lot of equipment on Boo because when an equipped creature dies, all the equipment that was on it just falls off. So when you get Boo back, you can just put it back on him. And this guy can just pick up that armor and weapons, all that equipment, and put it on himself. Yidaro, Wandering Monster. This is an 8/8 with trample and haste, cycling 1 of any and a red. When you cycle Yidaro, Wandering Monster, shuffle it into your library from your graveyard. If you cycled a card named Yidaro, Wandering Monster 4 or more times this game, put it onto the battlefield from your graveyard instead. So eventually you'll be able to cast this for just 2 mana, but I'm not sure how much I'll be doing that, but maybe a little. I don't know. It's good for cycling, though. Forgotten Ancient. It's a 0/3. Whenever a player casts a spell, that's you or your opponents, you may put a +1/+1 counter on Forgotten Ancient, so you will want to remember that trigger. At the beginning of your upkeep, you may move any number of +1/+1 counters from Forgotten Ancient onto other creatures, such as Boo, perhaps? Bounty of Might. And we got Bounty of Might, which gives target creature +3/+3 until end of turn 3 times. So you can put all 3 of those on Boo and make him a 10/10, or perhaps a 14/14, a 13/13 that is, and draw, that many cards and do that much damage. Oh, and I should note that the damage done by Minsc and Boo is not combat damage, so that won't be commander damage, unfortunately. But you could do 40 damage with this pretty easily, too. Here we got Luca, Bound to Ruin. It is from the new set. This is a pull from a pack. It costs 5 mana, or, 4 mana and some life. And let's see, it's +1 ability. Add 1 green and 1 red. Spend this mana only to cast creature spells or activate abilities of creatures. And see, it's -1. Create a 3/3 green Phyrexian creature token with Toxic 1. Or -4, he deals X damage divided as you choose among any number of target creatures and or planeswalkers, where X is the greatest power among creatures you control as you activate this ability. So you can use that ultimate right away and hurt stuff based on how big Boo is. Because Boo, this is all about getting Boo big. Here we have Assault and Battery. Let's see, Assault deals 2 damage to target creature or player for 1 mana, not too bad. And Battery creates a 3/3 green elephant creature token. So if you need to do either of those, it's a good little utility for you. Vandal Blast. Destroy target Destroy target artifact you don't control, or you can overload it to destroy all artifacts you don't control. That's just good stuff right there. Cleansing Wildfire. Destroy target land. Its controller may search their library for a basic land card, put it onto the battlefield. Tapped, then shuffle their library. Draw a card. So you can kill their Dark Depths and give them a forest instead, or whatever. This is fair land destruction. Regrowth. Return target card. Return target card from your graveyard to your hand. So any old card for 2 mana back into your hand. Good stuff. Gruul Charm. Choose 1 target creature without flying, can't block this turn, or gain control of all permanents you own, or Gruul Charm deals 3 damage to each creature with flying. So it's a good flying hoser, or it can, do other stuff. Raging Swordtooth, 5/5 trample. When he enters the battlefield, deals 1 damage to each other creature, so that'll hose your opponent's little 1/1 thingies. Also your own, so watch out for that. Here we have Arnie Slays the Troll. Its first chapter is target creature you control fights up to 1 target creature you don't control, so this is for Boo to fight your opponent's creatures and kill them. Go for the eyes, if you will. And its second chapter, add a red mana. Put 2/1/1 counters on up to 1 target creature you control. Boo. And it's chapter 3, you gain life equal to the greatest power among creatures you control. Struggle. Struggle deals damage to target creature equal to the number of lands you control, so it's a good killer of creatures. And then after that, it is a Survive. It's got Aftermath, of course. Cast this spell only from your graveyard, then exile it. Each player shuffles their graveyard into their library, so it's a good graveyard hoser, at least temporarily. Sanctum of Shattered Heights. I think I have all the green and red shrines in this deck because they're just good. You know, I kind of want to put them in every deck that I can. Maybe I don't, though. I don't know. 1 of any, discard a land card or a shrine card, and it deals X damage to target creature or planeswalker, where X is the number of shrines you control. We got Fang of Shigeki. It's a 1/1 Death Touch. Just a simple 1/1 with Death Touch to sort of stop your opponent from maybe attacking you so much. Magus of the Order. Tap green, sacrifice it, and another green creature. Search your library for a green creature card, put it onto the battlefield, then shuffle your library. So I got some good green creatures in here. Here we have Psychosis Crawler. Whenever you draw a card, each opponent loses 1 life. That's, if you got a beefy Boo and you sacrifice him, this can do even more damage. Eternal Witness. When it enters the battlefield, you may return target card from your graveyard to your hand. So it's whatchamacallit. It's a regrowth on a stick. Very good stuff. Spellbook. This is good because you're going to end up with a very large hand. So you're going to want stuff in here to stop you from having to discard them. Cloakwood Swarmkeeper. 1/1, whenever 1 or more tokens enters the battlefield under your control, put a +1/+1 counter on Cloakwood Stormkeeper, and that's going to be happening every turn, or nearly every turn, with Boo. Dragonmaster Outcast. It is a 1/1 at the beginning of your upkeep. If you control 6 or more lands, create a 5/5 red dragon creature token with flying. So if your opponents don't kill this, you're going to get lots of dragons. Blasphemous Act. This is a board wipe. Does 13 damage to each creature, and it costs 1 less to cast for each creature on the battlefield, not on the graveyard. So the more stuff that's out, the less this will cost, and the more damage it will do. Guttural Response. Counter target blue instant spell. So this is a good counter for a counter. Alright, now we're in a new category of cards here. I'm not sure what it is. Here we have Visions of Dominance. Oh yeah, this must be about +1/+1 counters. Put a +1/+1 counter on target creature, then double the number of +1/+1 counters on it. So this is good after you've cast Boo and maybe used the +1 ability a few times. And it's got Flashback, 8 of any, and 2 green. The spell costs X less to cast this way, where X is the greatest mana value of a commander you own on the battlefield or in the command zone. So it'll be 4, so it'll cost 6 instead of 10. So pretty good. Soul's Might. Put X +1/+1 counters on target creature, where X is that creature's power. Good for beefing up Boo. Antagonize. Target creature gets +4/+3 until end of turn. So you get 4 more cards from sacrificing Boo for 2 mana. That's a good deal. Invigorating Hot Spring. Invigorating Hot Spring enters the battlefield with 4 +1/+1 counters on it. Modified creatures you control have haste. Boo already has haste anyway, but whatever. And remove a +1/+1 counter from Invigorating Hot Spring. Put a +1/+1 counter on target creature you control. Activate only as a sorcery and only once each turn. So, there you go. Reckless Charge. Target creature gets +3/+0 and gains haste until end of turn. He's already got haste, but the +3/+0 is nice, especially for just 1 mana. And the Flashback is good. Jackhammer. Equipped creature gets +2/+0. Nice, simple beef up for Boo. Invigorating Surge. Put a +1/+1 target. Put a +1/+1 counter on target creature you control, then double the number of +1/+1 counters on that creature. This is, I think, Vorinclex Monstrous Raider. This is the one that says basically double the number of counters you put on any of your permanents. So, double the number of +1/+1 counters that go on Boo. It's good stuff. This is the Phyrexian version, of course. When I got this in a pack, I was very confused, but happy. Samut Tyrant Smasher. Creatures you control have haste, which doesn't help Boo at all because he already has haste, but whatever. And its -1 is target creature gets +2/+1 and gains haste until end of turn. Scry 1. So, that's helpful. Alright, now we've got Goblin and Narcomancer. Each spell that you cast that's red or green costs 1 less to cast. Good stuff. 3 visits, so I think this is the ramp in the deck. Search your library for a forest, put that card onto the battlefield, then shuffle your library. So you get an untapped forest for 2 mana. Good stuff. Grafted Growth. Let's see, enchant land. When Grafted Growth enters the battlefield, put a +1/+1 counter on target creature or vehicle you control. Enchanted land has tap for 2 mana of any one color. Oh, is that really the only ramp in here? There might be more, I'm not sure. Draconic Disciple. Oh yeah, this is ramp. This is ramp too. It's 2/2. Tap for a mana of any color. Or 7 of any, tap it, sacrifice it, create a 5/5 red dragon token with flying. Cursed Mirror. As it enters the battlefield, you may have it become a copy of any creature on the battlefield until end of turn, except it has haste. And it taps for a red mana. Goldhound is a 1/1 treasure dog. First strike and menace, and you can sacrifice it for a mana of any color. Here we got Sanctum of Fruitful Harvest. Yep, I thought I had more shrines in this deck. At the beginning of your pre-combat main phase, add X mana of any one color, where X is the number of shrines you control. And here we have Thought Vessel. No maximum hand size. Tap for a colorless. Good stuff. Map the Wastes. Search your library for a basic land. Put it on the battlefield tapped. Then shuffle your library. Bolster 1. So that really works with Boo. Vessel of Volatility. 2 mana. Sacrifice it. Add 4 red mana to your mana pool. Or just add 4 red mana now. They get rid of the mana pool, which I don't think was necessary. They're just pandering to people who aren't very... Anyway, Palladium Mirror. Tap it for a pair of colorless mana. Leafkin Avenger. Tap it for a green for each creature you control with power 4 or greater, and you're often going to have at least one of those in Boo. And plus, you'll have that with him, so, yeah. And 7 of any and a red, he deals damage equal to its power to target creature or planeswalker, and that does not tap him. So if you have just tons and tons of mana, you can do a lot of damage to lots of stuff. Azus has many journeys. You may play an additional land each turn this turn for the first chapter. Second chapter, you gain 3 life. Third chapter, it becomes a 3/3 that does what? Oh yes, when it becomes blocked, untap up to 3 lands you control. So, that's that. Roiling Regrowth. Sacrifice a land, search your library for up to 2 basic lands, put them onto the battlefield tapped, then shuffle your library. Glorious Sunrise. At the beginning of combat on your turn, you can choose one. Creatures you control get +1/+1 and gain trample until end of turn. Target creature gains tap for 3 green mana until end of turn. Draw a card if you control a creature with power 3 or greater, or you gain 3 life. So, all those are very good things. Could help you in a lot of different situations with this. Elvish Rejuvenator. 1/1 when it enters the battlefield, look at the top 5 cards of your library. You may put a land card from among them onto the battlefield tapped, put the rest on the bottom of your library in a random order. So there's a good chance one of those 5 cards will be a land. So, Gift of Paradise. I like these enchant lands because enchantments aren't often killed in Commander. Enchantments and lands. They're both kind of generally left alone. Except by white. But anyway... let's see. So when Gift of Paradise enters the battlefield, you gain 3 life, and Enchanted Land has tap to add 2 mana of any one color. Glittering Frost. Enchanted Land is snow, and whenever it's tapped for mana, its controller adds an additional 1 mana of any color. Sheltered Eyrie. Enchanted Land has tap for 2 mana of any color. Beanstalk Giant. This has an adventure called Fertile Footsteps. Search your library for a basic land, put it onto the battlefield, not tapped, then shuffle your library, and its power and toughness are each equal to the number of lands you control. Greater Tanuki, 6/5 trample, and it has a channel ability to search your library for a basic land, put it onto the battlefield tapped, and then shuffle. Cultivate. Cultivate is cultivate. You probably know what it does. Nature's Embrace, enchant a creature or land. As long as enchanted permanent is a creature, it gets +2/+2, so you might want to put it on Boo, but then it dies when you sacrifice it. So you'll more likely want to put it on a land so it can tap for 2 mana of any color. And Field Trip. Search your library for a basic forest, put it onto the battlefield tapped, then shuffle. And then learn. But unfortunately, there's no looking out. There's no sideboard in Commander, so you'll just be drawing and discarding. Cement Shoes. Okay, here's the equipment, or more equipment. Equipped creature gets +3/+3 and has at the beginning of your end step tap this creature. That won't really matter with Boo because you'll be sacrificing him. Equipped creature does not untap during its controller's untap step. So it's just a cheap +3/+3 for Boo. Dwarven Hammer. When it enters the battlefield, you may pay 2. If you do, create a 2/1 red dwarf berserker token, blah blah blah. But you're not really going to be doing that because it's going to go onto Boo. And its equip is 3. Oh, and it gives equipped creature +3/+0 and trample, which it doesn't have. It doesn't have. Oh, it does have trample, but whatever. Just makes it bigger. Luxor, Gyada's Gift. Equipped creature has +1/+1 for each counter on it. Equipped permanent isn't a planeswalker and is a creature in addition to its other types. Equip planeswalker 1 or equip a regular thing for 3, so this makes Boo much bigger. Volshot Gauntlets. Equipped creature gets +4/+2 and doesn't untap during its controller's untap step, but that doesn't matter with Boo. He just gets sacrificed. Scavenged Blade. When it enters the battlefield, attach it to a creature you control, so you get a free equip to give him +2/+0. Team Pennant. Equipped creature gets +1/+1 and has Vigilance and Trample, and you can equip a creature token, like Boo, for just 1. So that's cool. Great Axe. Equipped creature gets +4/+0. Its equip cost is a little steep, but it's a green deck, so you're going to have the mana. Amorphous Axe. +3/+0 and is every creature type. Equipped for 3. Spiked Ripsaw. Equipped creature gets +3/+3, and whenever it attacks, you can sacrifice a forest, and it gets trample until end of turn, but you're not going to have to do that because it already has trample. Marauder's Axe. Equipped creature gets +2/+0. Just nice and simple. Tormentor's Trident. Equipped creature gets +3/+0 and attacks each turn if able, but that doesn't matter if you sacrifice Boo before you attack. But you might want to attack with it. Who knows? Jousting Lance. Equipped creature gets +2/+0. As long as it's your turn, equipped creature has first strike. Grafted War Gear. Free equip. An equipped creature gets +3/+2, and since you're sacrificing it with Minsc and Boo anyway, it doesn't matter. This other ability doesn't matter, that when it becomes unattached, sacrifice it. Because you want to sacrifice it for something else. Alright, now we're going to show you the lands. We got a Reliquary Tower. I don't have enough Reliquary Towers, so that's why it's a fake. And let's see. Alright, we got Gond Gate. Gates you control enter the battlefield untapped, and it taps for a colorless, or 1 mana of any color that a gate you control could produce. Highland Forest. It's a mountain and a forest. Lair of the Hydra. Taps for a red. Taps for a green, or you can pay X and a green. Until end of turn, it becomes an XX, but that's still a land, but X can't be 0. Here's another gate. So it taps for 1 mana of any color, or you can make a treasure token by tapping more gates that you control. And this is good with Gond Gate, because then this would allow Gond Gate to tap for 1 mana of any color, because this can tap for 1 mana of any color. Gond Gate does not care that it costs 1 extra mana to do that. Gruul Guildgate. Taps for a green or a red. Forgotten Cave. It's a cycling land. Here's Yavimaya, Cradle of Growth. Each land is a forest in addition to its other land types. This one isn't really that impactful in this deck. I don't really have any Forest Walk creatures in here. So I don't know. This could go into a deck that it fits better in, but for now, it's just here. Cave of Temptation. Tap for a colorless or a mana of any color for 1 or more, and you can sacrifice it to put 2/+1/+1 counters on target creature. Like Boo, perhaps. Here we have a fake beta taiga. It's a forest and a mountain. Here's another gate, Cliff Gate. I put as many gates in here as I could. Comes into play tapped. Enters the as it enters the battlefield, choose a color other than red. Of course, you're going to choose green. Then it taps for a red or a green. Castle Garenbrig. This taps basically for 2 green as long as you have enough lands. And the rest are mountains and forests, as you can see. So there we go. That is my Minsc and Boo Timeless Heroes deck. What do you think? Tell me what you think. Like, comment, subscribe, all that fun stuff, whatever you want to do. You have a great day.